Hi Abby. So this video is part 2 of the instructional videos for Celestial Sphere Qigong, and I'm going to continue where we left off, which was in the Embrace the Tree posture, held as it was in the previous instruction in the first video for 10 breath cycles. And once we're done with the 10 breath cycles in this posture, we then, as we did before, dissolve the form downward to the Dantian on the exhale. And now on the inhale, we're going to bring the hands up the central channel, and this time around the top of the head, around the sides of the head, and bringing the forearms together with the palms facing up to open the flower at the eye. And we're going to hold this posture for 5 breath cycles. And at the end of those 5 breath cycles, on the exhale, holding the form as we go outward and descend along the microcosmic orbit, slowly separating the hands, the palms inward toward the Dantian. And then on the inhale, bringing the palms upward the central channel, expanding the heart. And then bringing the hands together, and this time opening the flower at the crown, above the head, just above the head. And then on the exhale, bringing the form, offering the flower, bringing the form downward along the microcosmic orbit, and then slowly separating the hands to the Dantian once again. On the inhale, bringing the hands up, expanding the heart, and this time expanding the hands and the arms all the way outward, with the palms ending up facing upward in what's called heaven palm, the heaven posture. Salutation to heaven is what it will be called later. We'll be doing this again. So this is called heaven palm, sometimes eagle palm. In this form, it's heaven palm. And we hold this posture for 5 breath cycles. And once we're done with our 5 breath cycles, on the inhale, we're going to bring the hands up to the crown together, not touching, but bringing them together, and then on the exhale, descending, palms facing the body down the central channel, spreading at the root. Bringing the hands in again on the inhale, upward, and then at the eye, going to bring the hands outward into, it's sort of like a smaller version of embracing the tree, you can think of it as. The arms and the hands are kind of in the same formation, except this time, you can call it holding the orb at the eye, because the hands are rather here about 4 to 6 inches away from the body, rather than in embracing the tree. It's more like a couple of feet really. So here, holding the orb at the eye for 5 breath cycles. And when you're done, the 5 breath cycles in this posture, you're going to descend along the microcosmic sphere and hold the orb while exhaling. Hold the orb. So you're going to exhale as you go down and holding the orb at the Dantian now. About 3 to 5 probably. 3 to 5, 4 to 6 inches away from the body. Okay, and you're going to hold that for 5 breath cycles as well. So let's go through that again. So from here, embrace the tree. Remember, we're going to be holding this for 10 breath cycles. And after the 10 breath cycles, on the exhale, I'm going to bring the form downward toward the Dantian. Then on the inhale, drawing upward along the central channel, and this time around the top of the head, bringing the palms forward around the sides of the head into opening the flower at the eye. This is sometimes called monkey carrying fruit. As you can see, it kind of looks like that. Most of the names, traditional names for forms, follow the structure of what their shape looks like in the animal kingdom or the natural world. So we're holding the orb or opening the flower at the eye, and we're holding this for 5 breath cycles. And when we've completed those 5 breath cycles, we're going to expand out on the exhale, still holding the form, and then once it passes the chest, we're going to start separating the hands on the exhale, bringing the palms into the dantian. Again, raising the hands along the central channel on the inhale and expanding the heart. Bringing the hands and the arms together again in the holding or opening the flower posture, this time above the head. And bringing it downward. And then once more on the inhale, up, expanding the heart, and this time bringing the hands and arms outward into heaven palm. And we're holding this for 5 breath cycles. Once you've completed the 5 breath cycles in this form, remember the palms are up. I noticed that my hands are a little bit out of frame. I just wanted to emphasize that. On the inhale, you're going to bring the hands up like this, tracing along sphere, and then turning the hands so that the palms will be facing the body when they reach the body. Down on the exhale, along the central channel, spreading at the root, then bringing the hands back, ascending along the central channel on the inhale, and then bringing the hands outward at the eye, at the forehead, technically according to traditional anatomy, but of course we're using the 6th chakra center, the eye, and holding the orb at the eye, about 4 to 6 inches away. And we're holding this for 5 breath cycles. And when you're done, holding this position for 5 breath cycles, on the exhale, you're going to trace along the microcosmic orbit again, descending and bringing the hands inward at the dantian to hold the orb at the dantian. Same distance, same posture, just different location. And we're going to hold this for 5 breath cycles. Okay? And so that's that section. And I'm going to move directly into the next section, which picks up where we left off. Holding the orb at the dantian for 5 breath cycles. Once you're done with holding the orb at the dantian for 5 breath cycles, you are then going to raise the hands along the central channel, drawing the energy along the central channel. This is a form that we repeat. On the inhale, then above the crown, and separating the hands and tracing them, descending along the great sphere, turning the palms inward toward the dantian. On the inhale, expanding the dantian, and on the exhale, we're going to be bringing the hands together and outward, so holding the sphere at the dantian. So this time, unlike holding the orb, now we're more at an embrace the tree distance. This is more like, I don't know, 1.5 feet, I suppose. Maybe 18 inches, something like that. And holding the orb at the dantian. Now, what makes this different is, when we actually do this, unlike the other static positions, we are not holding this sphere at the dantian for a series of breath cycles. We are just holding it long enough to set the form. That's it. And then transitioning into another repetition. So the way that will actually look, I want to do it one time without the verbal instruction mostly, for how it will look. Holding the orb at the dantian. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Drawing in on the inhale. So essentially what you're doing is, as you're exhaling, you go into holding the sphere of the dantian. On the very next inhale, you're bringing the hands back in toward the dantian. So you're not holding this position for any longer than necessary to set it. And then again, we're going to do this 3 times. So, up, exhaling, descending along the great sphere, the dantian, expanding the dantian, exhale as we go outward to holding the sphere at the dantian, inhale as we bring the hands in, and once again. And then once we do that 3 times, we're going to proceed to the next form, which is very similar, but this time we're going to draw the hands in on the inhale and inhale upward. So that's all in one motion. This time we're going to go in and upward, and again descending along the great sphere. Except this time we're going to bring the hands to the dantian as we exhale, finish the exhale, and then immediately go in the reverse fashion, ascending along the great sphere, and then descending along the central channel as we exhale and spreading the root. And then this is 3 times as well. So again, from there, from spreading the root, we will do that once again, ascending as we inhale, descending along the great sphere as we exhale, and then inhale as we reverse motion, descending along the central channel, spreading at the root. And one more time, we do this 3 times as well, descending along the central channel, exhaling as we go down along the great sphere, resting just for a brief moment, and then the very next inhale again for the 3rd time and final time, ending at the root. And for the last movement in this set, we're going to again bring the hands in on the inhale, upward, descending along the great sphere, and this time when we bring the hands in, we're going to ascend along the central channel as we inhale, expanding the heart, and then going into what's commonly called the prayer posture at the heart, sometimes called Anjali. And basically what's happening here is you don't want to press your hands entirely together. You want to leave a space in the middle of your hands. So the fingertips, the thumbs, the edges and bottom edges of the hands are all together, but in the center there's a little bit of a space left. That's important. So, and we're going to hold this position for 20 breath cycles this time. Okay? So I want to go through that all again. So taking it from holding the orb at the dantian. And remember, this is a posture that we hold for 5 breath cycles. And then when we're done with that, on the inhale, we bring the hands up along the central channel, above the crown, and separating, descending along the great sphere with the palms up, turning palms inward, and inhaling as we expand the dantian, and exhaling as we go out and holding the sphere at the dantian just for a moment. On the very next inhale, bring the hands into the dantian, ascend again. It's the 2nd repetition among 3 repetitions. Expanding the dantian, exhaling, inhaling last time, up, descending along the great sphere, expanding the dantian, exhaling, holding the sphere at the dantian, inhaling again to the next movements, ascending along the great sphere, and then reversing. On the inhale, ascending along the great sphere, downward along the central channel as we exhale, spreading at the root. 1. Do this 3 times as well. Inhaling upward, ascending along the great sphere, reversing as we inhale again, and exhale as we go down the central channel and spread at the root. 3rd time, last time, ascending along the central channel, outward as we exhale. On the exhale, spreading at the root. And now, inhale as we come up the central channel, descending the great sphere. We're going into the prayer posture now. Ascending as we inhale, expanding the heart, bringing the hands together into Anjali, at the heart. And holding this posture for 20 breath cycles. What we're starting to do now is integrating what's been cultivated. And then at the end, you'll see we'll be sealing it with salutations. So that's why for this particular form, it's the longest of the holds, 20 breath cycles. Okay, so that's that section. Now let me just check the time. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is start the next section, which is the last one before the concluding salutations in the 3rd and final video. Okay, so I'm going to stop this one here and then pick up right where we left off here, 20 cycles in prayer posture, integrating the heart.